What's up, everybody? Welcome to a very special edition of the Pound for Pound Show. We are here to recap 2022 and hand out the most prestigious award in all of the land, the Poundys. Look at that award. People fight all year. They train their whole lives in hopes to just get a sniff of one of these awards. So we're without further ado, let's get in and hand a few of them out. Joining me as always are Ben and Russ. How you gentlemen doing?
Very good. Excited for the third annual Poundys.
Yes. Yes. We got some awards to hand out and we're shipping them out. Never. We're not shipping them out.
Yeah. Spoiler, there's actually only one and no one gets one. It's the same one from last year.
The budget on this show is like in the deficit. It's in a deficit. There's no budget.
No. You can't tell from our production values that
right.
The budget is through the roof.
We're sinking some money into it next year.
Hell yeah, we are.
We're coming up.
Oh yeah, that's what it is. We just
we are 100%.
We had to save. We had to make some budget cuts for the pandemic, but now coming out of it, we're turning things around.
Right.
So things are moving on up in 2023. So without further ado, we will get started. So the first one, we'll get right to an exciting one, the fight of the year. I'll throw it to Ben first and then over to Russ. Tell me what you guys think.
Well, you got multiple candidates. Chandler Dustin comes to mind. That was a very exciting fight, back and forth, just a slugfest, just as we had hoped. But the best fight of the year, based on the stakes and just these guys going back and forth, and it taking place on the feet, then the ground, and just unexpected things transpiring. I got Glover versus Yuri. It was such an exciting fight, and it was for the light heavyweight title. Yuri was losing the fight, and then he pulls off that submission in the end, and it was such a great performance by both guys. Both of their stocks actually went up after that fight, which is rare, but that's the fight of the year. What do you think, Ross?
Yeah, I think that was a runaway for fight of the year. I think it was maybe top 3 light heavyweight fight of all time. It definitely in UFC, a top 3 light heavyweight fight all time. It was unbelievable. The fact that they showed the judges' scorecards afterwards, and we know that Glover was winning on 2 of the judges' scorecards, and he was winning the 5th round until he got choked out. So he was going to win that fight, and Yuri stole victory by submitting him. Like who would have guessed that ending? Crazy. It was just unbelievable fight, and it's 2 likable dudes. That helps too. When you both the fighters are highly likable and entertaining dudes. It just made for an absolute war, and we kind of got robbed of the rematch because Yuri's out now for a long time.
I know.
But maybe Glover can get that title back.
I hope so, man. Phil, what do you think?
I mean, that's awfully hard to argue with. I was going back through the year and thinking of anything, and yeah, it's an all-timer. Like, it's really hard to even put anything up there with it. Like I said, both guys could have been finished more than once during the fight. They both clearly left it all in the cage because they both looked like they were literally going to die. Right. It was an incredible fight. It had everything that you could possibly jam into one fight, all in that fight. And the stakes couldn't have been higher. I don't know how. I really don't know how anyone could pick anything else, to be perfectly honest with you. So pretty unanimous on that one that would be the fight of the year.
And the Poundy goes to Yuri and Glover. There you go, boys.
Get well, Yuri. Win the title, Glover.
I feel like they were digging deep when it was the 5th round. Yuri was thinking he couldn't get finished. He had to come back to get that Poundy. I think that's really what pushed him through.
Right.
So he had it on his mind. He was like, oh my God, if I lose this fight, no Poundy for me this year. So he stuck in there and he got it done. So glad we could help. But yeah, hopefully he gets better sooner than later and we see him back in there fighting for that belt. So we'll go to the next one, which is always another one that is exciting to talk about, the knockout of the year. People watch fights to see knockouts. So what do you guys got? This one, Russ, you can go first this time. What do you got?
I had to go with Leon Edwards, knocking out Usman with that head kick, a walk-off KO against a dude we've never seen finished, and, who was winning every second of that fight prior to that moment. It was shocking. Like we were all watching it together and our jaws dropped when that happened. It was just unbelievable. I mean, I still can't believe he did that. And I think the rematch is getting booked soon. So that should be another sweet fight, but just an unreal performance by Leon, unreal KO, unreal corner talk. You know what I mean? In between rounds, between the 4th and 5th, telling him like, this is it. Like, you have to get the stoppage or you're losing.
Listen, stop feeling sorry for your well, come on then. What's wrong with you? You're too down. You gotta pull the out of fire.
Stay sharp.
Come on, Leon, man. You got it, man. Come on.
You got this. Sharp shooter. Press his down.
Come on, Leon. Let's go.
You had him, man. Can you do it again?
And he went and freaking stopped him dead. Unbelievable. And then his post-fight interview was incredible as well. Like,
It was.
I admittedly was not a big Leon fan, but he made me a fan after that. That was amazing.
Yeah, it was so awesome. It was just the perfect knockout. Like you said, Russ, he was winning. Usman was winning, what, 95% of the fight? He threw out like a Hail Mary head kick. Usman goes down flat line, dead. Everyone's jaws in the entire arena, everyone at home, their mouths were on the floor. How can that be not be knockout of the year? And Leon is such just a humble, hard worker too. And like, I just felt so good for him because he's not like a talker. He's all business. Just I'm just going to work and that's it. I'm not going to talk. And he did it the hard way. He did it his way and he did it the hard way. And he got the KO of the year and he got the belt. What do you think, Phil?
Yeah, it's a tough one to argue with. Really the two that came to mind was that one and the Chandler Ferguson knockout, because it was just such an epic knockout. But, when you factor in the stakes and you factor in the way it happened, that it was like the Hail Mary come from behind at the final minute, yeah, I have to agree with you guys. I think that was probably the knockout of the year. Like I said, that's one they'll be showing that knockout for the next 10 years. So
right.
100%.
Right. So Leon,
I don't agree that Leon is that likable of a dude, but other than that, I'm in. I hope Kamaru smashes him in the rematch.
wow.
And he's gonna. So I'm not too worried.
That's just rude, Phil.
I'm not too worried. But he had his moment. He gets his award.
There you go, Leon. It's for you, buddy.
It's your 15 minutes. Enjoy it.
Nah, Leon has a good shot in the rematch. I agree. I think.
Yep, I agree too.
I really do. I think a knockout like that, a flat line, like alters your whole career. I don't know that Kamaru is ever going to be the same.
Changes your fight style, makes you more hesitant. Yeah, all that stuff.
Yeah,
we'll get some action going on that fight.
We'll see. I don't know that it's booked yet. I know they're talking about it, but we'll see what the line is.
Yeah, I have to imagine that both of them, that's going to be their next fight. I can't imagine what else they would do. So
yeah.
Ooh, awesome. Well, if we did the KO of the year, obviously we got to go with the submission of the year right after that. So, Ben, what do you got for the submission of the year?
So we were talking. There were two, but we narrowed it down to one. Paul Craig's triangle on choke on Krylov was a very good submission. That's the runner-up, but the submission of the year we gave to Yuri on Glover Teixeira. That was like a Hail Mary submission. And who would have thought Yuri submits Glover, who's like a Brazilian jiu-jitsu master, multiple submissions in his career. And there's just a very, very impressive finish on a very impressive fight by both guys. And that's our submission of the year. What do you think, Russ?
Yeah, that's the one we agreed on. The stakes were too insane, and the odds of that being the finish are just so unlikely. But also another one I want to throw out there is the Makhachev submitting Oliveira, just because the way he did it with like the ease and the fact that, of all the ways winning, we didn't think he was going to submit Charles Oliveira. That seemed highly unlikely. And that's how he took the title from him. And he made it look kind of easy. Very, very, very wild.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Why'd you have to remind me of that? Just ruined my night. Yeah.
I just thought that was an insane sub as well.
Yeah, it is a good one. But all right, yeah, that's Yuri. Yuri gets 2 poundies.
Another award, yeah. We're gonna will him back to health.
Hey, he got stripped of the title, so at least he gets the awards that are even better than the title.
He'll get some gold.
Yep.
Yeah, he's got the gold that really matters. So good stuff. So this one is always a tough one because we like to support the fighters. But we got to talk about whose stock went down in 2022. Not always our favorite thing to talk about, especially Russ. He doesn't like to speak ill of anybody. So we'll start with you, Russ. Whose stock went down in 2020?
I mean, since you're going to force me to, I'm going to say Dana White's stock went down a little bit.
That's a good one.
He started a stupid power slap league, which looks like the dumbest thing in the world to me. And he was caught on camera slapping his wife around, which That's unbelievable, like timing on that,
Right.
like that happening right before he's debuting his Power Slap League. Unreal. So stock down on him. All the fighters, they did good. I'm proud of them.
Right. I honestly thought when Dana did that slap that was caught on camera, I thought he should have came out and said, "No, I was showing her about the Power Slap League." I was, but no,
Yeah, it was like just a serious promo for his show.
right. No, but I was thinking stock down. There were two options in my mind, and these people had very high stock to begin with, so that's why it could only go down. Really, was Izzy and Rose. Izzy had some lackluster performances, and then he had the loss to Pahea. He did perform good in that fight, but he lost the belt. So, and then you got Rose, who had just an awful performance against Carla, where she couldn't pull the trigger and she just looked flat-footed, and she just didn't look good. And that was her only fight in 2022. So I say those two. What do you think, Phil?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I got to agree with Rose. That fight made me literally never want to see her fight again. So if she doesn't, like, I'm totally okay with it. Like I said, I don't need to see another fight like that again in my entire life. So definitely her. And yeah, like we like jokingly, but like kind of not jokingly, like Dana White and the UFC. Like I said, they've put on a lot of lackluster cards. Pay-per-view prices are higher than ever. And we are as diehard of fight fans as they come, and it's that they are making it hard to be interested in like an every event type of follow. It's my interest as a fan, and we've been watching for a long time, is probably the lowest it's been in a long time. Not exactly the easiest company to support. So
I'd agree.
Hopefully they turn some things, especially they're just like cutting guys like Francis and stuff like that. Like like it doesn't seem like they're really trying to put on the best fights. But
Embarrassing.
Yeah, so hopefully they turn some things around in 2023. I'm looking for a better year. So that's
another
what
thing I'd like to see him stop doing in the new year is quit running cards at the Apex Center. Like, the pandemic's over. Like, the live audience matters. Like, it's a huge difference when you're watching them in front of a live crowd. It just feels like a slight to the fighters, almost like it's like, oh, you're on the Apex card, so come out there in front of no crowd,
right?
Yeah,
and some corrupt judges, and put on a fight of like serious consequences in front of nobody. It's just, I'm kind of tired of them. Like, I appreciated it when that was what we had, what they had to do, but we're way past that now. Like, quit
I agree.
forcing cards. Yeah, that's what they're doing. They're just to force a weekly card on you. They're like, we just run it in the Apex.
Yeah, it seems very, very similar to, we had the same conversation about WWE at some point. It seems like UFC is almost more of a content provider at this point. Like, it's the quantity of content they can put out. They're like, well, we got to have a card every weekend. Like, we don't have the fighters to do it. We'll get somebody. We got to get a card.
Honestly, like, one card out of every 4 months is like pay-per-view worthy. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Yeah.
Well, because they're spreading them out, because you got a card every weekend. If you even went to one card a month, you could take the best of those fights from those cards and build like a pay-per-view quality or close to, pay-per-view card. But when you're putting on that many fights, it's really hard to keep the quality that high.
Right.
One of the ones that really got me is I seen that upcoming Sandhagen and Cheeto Vera fight is at the Apex Center. I'm like, that's like one of the best fights you could possibly make.
Yeah.
And they're going to fight in front of nobody.
It's a great fight.
It's unbelievable that's there.
Right.
Like, if you're going to do that, do just his contender series there. Don't put the freaking main event, like, great fighters in there.
They're not big stars or draws. They don't move the needle. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Who does at this point in UFC?
I know
all the stars are gone.
They're terrible at promoting their fighters. Honestly, that they just I don't know. They're weird.
Agreed. So we could go on about this topic for a long time. So, but we will move on in the sake of the people tuned in to see awards, not us complain about the state of UFC. So
hey, that's our stock down.
Yeah.
Second company.
That's true. That's true. So. Good stuff. So, but on the other, I guess you could almost call it like a stock up. Who do you guys think is the breakthrough fighter of 2022? Who raised their stock more than anybody else?
Russ?
Oh, it was Alex Pereira. Like, he had one fight in the UFC. He fought 3 times in the last year, just destroyed, and he won the title. from Izzy, his longtime rival. It's just an unbelievable come up year for him. It's really cool how he stalked him down too, from like, all the way from kickboxing to the UFC, hunted him like a Terminator and took the title.
Right.
Just unreal story. Just really cool to see.
Yep.
And he came out of almost nowhere. Like, I mean, people knew like he was a good striker when he was coming from there, but like to ascend that quickly, I don't know anybody that's done it.
I was about to say that. Yeah, he did it so quick. He
Yeah.
did it in like about a year and a half or less. And
Yeah, because he kind of got fast tracked because of the, already built in rivalry with Izzy. So it was just unbelievable.
personally, I don't know what you guys felt when he was coming over to the UFC. I felt like he was using those wins against Izzy just to maybe like get some money or make a name for himself. I did not know he was bringing that level of talent. You know what I mean? I was shocking, but yeah, Pereira is definitely our breakthrough fighter of the year. He had an amazing year, and he's our breakthrough fighter of the year. Phil.
What else is there to say? I mean, how could I possibly argue with anything you guys said? Yeah, it's unbelievable when a guy basically walks in off the street. I know he's got over a decade of like fighting experience, but it was basically all in kickboxing. So to come into the UFC and win those high level fights the way he did, it's pretty unprecedented. So, he absolutely, it's kind of a no-brainer on this one.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Very nice. Be interested to see where that division goes. There's a lot of interesting matchups now that he's at the top of it. So
right.
Oh, cool. So now we're getting to the big one. So we've got the big two. We will go. Who do you guys have for the female fighter of the year?
So female fighter of the year, we all agreed. I think we all agreed. It was Zhang Weili Zhang. I don't know what's her, but she had 2 big wins. She got the belt back. She beat Carla Esparza, and then she beat. No, wait, I'm
Joanna.
sorry. Yeah, she beat Joanna, and then she beat Carla Esparza. Yeah, she looked great in both 2 finishes, and she's just a beast. So she's our female fighter of the year. Russ, what do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. She not just won those 2 fights, but she looked like she just leveled up so much. She looked so good, and she looks so freaking juiced up and strong at this point that like a matchup against Valentina is not, out of the realm of possibility. It's like, that fight could happen. She looks big now. She looks very good. I'm just saying, like,
it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
There's a good chance that fight happens.
Why do you guys want to see this girl get beat up so bad?
She's tough as hell. I mean, I'm not saying she'll beat Valentina, but like, I think it could be a war. It could be like a tough fight for Valentina.
For sure.
Yeah. She's getting very good. She's getting better quicker than like most girls too. I think she could be a dual champion. I
agree. I agree with you. She's so good. I wouldn't count her out against not even Valentina. If Valentina just got booked against, I forget her name. What's her name? But anyway, if Valentina wins, I think they make that fight. I think they book that fight. Phil, what do you think?
You guys got to stop. I agree with you. I agree. Wiley's super impressive. And I was with you guys 100% until you started getting in the super fight business. You guys got to stop. You guys are sleeping on Valentina just because she's just been so dominant for so long. Again, another conversation for another dime. I don't want to take away from Weili Zhang. She crushed it. 2 dominant fights. She went out there and, beating Joanna's no joke. And she, and I feel bad. You don't want to disrespect the champion, but like going in and fighting Carla, we're like, oh, Carla's dead. And when you're the challenger and like you don't even give the champion a chance, like that speaks to what a quality fighter the challenger is. So she's going to be a handful at 115. Thinking of the matchups that she could get at that division, it's going to be interesting to see how those go. So, but we'll see. Like, I don't know what's next for her. So I don't think she has a fight booked right now. So we will see what is next. Well, so flip it over to the other side. Who do you guys got for the male fighter of the year? Ben, you can start this one off.
Male fighter of the year. We all agreed that it is Alex Pereira. Like we talked about earlier, he went 3-0 this year. He won the title from Izzy. He looked amazing in 2 of the fights, and then he looked good in the Izzy fight. I think he was losing the fight, but he got the finish and he got the win, which ultimately is what matters, and he got the belt. So, Pereira, man, he's just 3-0 and got the belt. you get fight of the year. He for sure is the fight of the year. What do you think, Russ?
Absolutely, I agree. And he did it in super entertaining fashion. He absolutely destroyed Sean Strickland, who everybody thought Sean Strickland might actually win that fight, and he just was not even in it. It was a destruction, and then he took the title. I'd give an honorable mention to Volk as well because he had an impressive year, and he's rolling into the new year, moving up in weight, going for a dual belt. That dude's just incredibly impressive.
Agreed.
Yeah, I think you have to consider Volk, and I think you have to consider Islam as well. It's kind of like he's so dominant, you almost take it for granted. He beat Oliveira was on an 11 fight win streak, I believe, and he was beating all the best guys. And Islam beat him like he didn't even belong in the cage with him. So you have to keep that into consideration. But again, I think at the end of the day, you have to sell. Bahia was the busiest. He had all finishes. He won the belt. He beat, I'm not the world's biggest Izzy fan, but he was obviously one of the top fighters in the entire UFC. He was the longtime middleweight champion. And to come in and with that level of experience to go 3-0, beat Adesanya and be the champ that's a year you can't top. So, I agree. He would be the guy. So.
Right. Cool.
Well, those are the awards, gentlemen, but we always make this as one of our favorites. I wish we would have wrote them down, and I wish we could have gone back and looked at our bold predictions from 2022 and seen how many of them came true or were way off the mark. So we should have went back and watched that episode. So
actually, I'll put it in here. Okay,
awesome.
I'll put it in right before, and then we'll see.
Yeah, so go in, and then we can go back and watch and just shake our heads and be like, "God, we're fools."
Right.
The producer's gonna make us look like a genius there. He's gonna put in our predictions from last year.
I feel like I
just dubbed over. I think
if I recall correctly, I said that Conor McGregor would win a belt in 2022. So
you're an honest man. You're an honest man, Phil.
Yeah.
Gentleman and a scholar.
I said John Jones would debut at heavyweight and lose.
What's that?
Did you? You said that?
Yeah, John Jones would debut at heavyweight and lose, but
I believe
we're still waiting on that.
I believe I said John Jones will be champion in 2022, which it could be coming soon, but yes. we made some great predictions.
We were just too far ahead of the game.
Yeah, possibly. So cool. Well, so we don't hog them all up. We'll kind of run through the list. Russ, you can go first, and then Ben, and then I'll go, and we'll jam a couple in there each. So
okay, I've got a few. I've got
just remember one at a time. Don't be stealing all of them.
Oh, one at a time? Okay.
Yeah.
I've got Jake Paul is going to fight Nate Diaz twice in 2023
I'll
in
see
the PFL.
I'm kidding.
That's something that interests me very much.
Oh my God.
I think he's going to, get these fighters paid, and he's going to get a good promotion going in the PFL, and he's going to fight Nate Diaz, and it's going to be fun.
Wow. That is bold. Very bold. Okay, I got Justin Gaethje will get the belt in 2023. Boom, count it. I think he's 2 wins away from a title shot. He's got a matchup with Fiziev coming. He gets a shot. He fights. Let's say Dariush gets that win. He's right back in there. He's right back in the title picture. Let's say he fights for the title in December, whatever. It's possible. What do you think, Phil?
It's possible, but I think he could maybe get a title shot in 2022. But I think you forget who the champion at that weight class is. So.
No, he's going to starch Islam.
So I wouldn't be sad if he did, but again, that's a definition of a bold prediction. So speaking of bold predictions, we will see John Jones fight Francis Ngannou in 2023.
Wow. Late 2023, you're saying?
Well, yes.
Very absolutely. Late, yeah.
Yes, at the close out the year. That's what
wow. Okay.
People, that's the one thing people are going to come to their senses and realize that's the fight we need to see.
Yeah. And money will be made and exchanged. And
yeah.
Coke will be bought. Okay, then
it will be great.
Right. This is a good segue into my next one. I've got Francis Ngannou will fight either Anthony Joshua or Deontay Wilder in a boxing match and make big money.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You don't think it'll be Fury?
No.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to be Fury.
And how do you see that fight going?
I mean, Francis has crazy power, but I don't see it going well for him.
No, I don't either.
I see those dudes either carrying him, around for it to a decision or stopping him,
Yeah.
Either way, I don't see Francis beating either of those guys. But Anthony Joshua, maybe. Actually,
His chin is questionable.
Yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm changing it. He could stop Joshua. If he fights Wilder, he's probably going to get stopped because Wilder throws nothing but crazy haymakers.
That would be a wild first round. Can you imagine those two?
Oh God.
It would just be like,
yeah. Yeah. It would be a straight up like bar brawl, but like high level heavyweights.
Right. All right. My next bold prediction, I got Robert Whittaker will get the belt back in 2023. He's at the top. He's always been at the top with New Blood having the title and not Izzy. He's got a chance again. He just has to fight, if his fights don't stop getting canceled. I mean, he could probably get back in there. But yeah, it's another one. What do you think, Phil?
I don't know if it's a bold prediction, but it was funny. I was going to that same weight class, except I think that Chimaev will be the middleweight champion of the world by the end of the year.
That's a shame you think that.
Well, I would argue that that's not a bold prediction. That is fact. Like that is concrete fact. Hamzat will be the champion, maybe of 2 divisions by the end of the year. That's a good one. I like that, Phil.
2? What is he going to go to light heavyweight too?
He's fought 170.
He's not fighting 170 again. He missed by 12 pounds last time, right? Get the hell out of here. Hamzat can get the hell out of here. But got conflicting.
You know how much I hate when people miss weight, but I almost wasn't mad because he was so indignant about it. He's like, fuck it.
Oh,
oh my God.
It was funny. And it made me extremely happy because I felt like that was the feel good story of 2022, like UFC setting up Nate Diaz for that destruction and it all falling apart for him. And Nate getting a win on his way out was just absolutely glorious. That makes me happy to this day.
Yeah. That's one thing to take away from a rough 2022.
Isn't it the best when UFC's plans go to crap? It's like the greatest thing.
Oh, especially because you know how hostile I was about them setting him up against
Hamzat. Yeah.
That was bothering me to no end. And the fact that it all worked out for Nate makes me so happy.
But you're up next, Russ. What do you got?
Okay, I've got one more. I've got Conor's going to come back, probably around the time his movie Roadhouse comes out to do some promotion, and he's going to fight. I can't even say what weight class, 170 or 185, but I'm predicting he's going to fight Masvidal and get a win. He's going to come back and get a win in the UFC.
Nice. I could see it.
Yeah. That might also be wishful or hopeful because he could come back and demand a title shot and UFC would bend the knee and, then he'd get destroyed probably by one of those champions.
Yeah.
So I really want to see him come back and fight somebody at that level, that's had some losses and is not, a killer right now.
I can see that I could definitely see that happening. I'd like that Masvidal matchup for Conor. I think that's a good matchup for Conor.
It only makes they have to talk some sense into him and be like, dude, you have to take money fights at this point. You are not at level. Number one, just getting you past USADA is going to be a miracle.
Oh, 100%.
I know.
Getting you in the cage is going to be, he's got less of a chance of beating USADA than John Jones does.
Right. What's that movie called? Roadhouse?
Nice.
Okay.
I like that. But yeah, they definitely need to put him in a position where either it's another fan favorite like Masvidal or just give him a can. The people want to see him win fights.
They can't.
I want to see him if I had my way, they'd put him in there with Chimaev and they would literally carry his dead carcass out of the cage. But they're not stupid.
Right.
They're not going to do that, because they like money. And
if they want to do another million pay-per-view buy at any point, they'll do Conor Masvidal. That fight will sell. If they have them do some press conferences, their characters alone sell that
for sure
so much.
For sure.
It seems it seems like such an odd thing that they never did Conor Nate 3. I mean, I know they will probably eventually it will happen, but it just seems odd that it hasn't happened.
I don't think it's going to happen. Nate, I don't think is coming back.
He
finally got out of that contract. I don't think he's going to go deal with them again.
That's so strange. I mean, it seems like such a lost big fight. You know what I mean?
Think about how long they tied him up in that contract and would not let him go fight
long
boxing
time.
Or anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not going back. He's going to go fight in PFL.
They would have to sign him to a 1-fight deal.
That's what I'm saying.
An outrageous amount of money.
That's what I'm saying. It would be 1 fight and for both guys. Yeah. But anyway, let's get back to bold predictions. I got one more. I don't know if this one's really that bold as a lot of people would agree with me and see it coming, but the Paddy train will get derailed. The Paddy hype train. I think it's coming. I think he lost to Jared Gordon. I mean, I think quite a few people actually think that, but yeah, those are my bold predictions. What do you think, Phil?
Man, I really don't necessarily have a third one because yeah, again, they're like super bold predictions. I don't know. I was thinking the other way, and maybe this is wishful thinking, but I was thinking the opposite. You guys were talking about Wiley fighting Valentina. I think Valentina goes to 135 and fights for the title there.
Yeah,
Hmm.
she's been talking about it for like a good year now, going back up and doing that fight again.
Yeah, there's so few money fights in the women's division right now, and that is the one money fight. And I know it has to bother her that like she doesn't even main event pay-per-views. Like she is the most dominant champion in the UFC. And
I don't know. Her last performance was like some people thought she lost.
Right, but that was the first time that she has even been tested in
very
multiple years.
Very true. I'm just saying.
Let's not get crazy.
I'm just saying. Is she on the decline?
It's
look into it. Look into it.
I think you're getting a little ahead of yourself.
Whaley's coming.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
and Valentina's got options, right?
Yeah, someone has one bad day, and again, like I said, I think that is what I think needs to happen. I think it should happen. And obviously, I think if they fight again, I think she wins that fight. So,
well, we already seen Nunez bad day, so hopefully she doesn't have another.
Yeah, true.
If they both come out and it would be cool to see like both of them on the top of their game, the best versus the best, and see how it turns out.
Be awesome.
Hope, that was her only bad day, you know what I mean? Because she just been champ for so long and just overlooked her so much because she looked so much better in the rematch. Like she looked, in so much better shape. She just looked incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And she had changed camps. She had been out a while. It was just, she didn't take it, and again, you could say the same. Maybe Valentina was just a tad complacent because she's just smashed everybody so violently. And she was fighting this girl that I legitimately right now cannot remember her name. So, maybe she just didn't take her that seriously. So maybe they'll give her a rematch. Valentina will beat her to death and, be like, that was a fluke. Here you go. Let's do the trilogy fight. Cause that is the money fight in the women's division right now.
Yeah. That seems like a common theme with the champions that are like so dominant that they just get bored. It seems like, and a little bit bored, complacent.
It's got to, it's got to be hard. They say you're always hungrier when you're climbing to the top than when you get there. Like once you're there, it's hard to train at that same level and keep that same edge for that. Like, especially after years of being the champion.
Yeah. You're full.
Right.
You're not hungry.
Yeah. Cool. Well, anything else while we're talking about the year-end awards that you guys want to cover before we get on out of here?
No. I did want to make an announcement and say that we'll be changing the format of the show in the forthcoming episodes from here on out.
See
and
how that works out.
Yeah, and it'll be much more entertaining and much more aesthetically pleasing to the eye. And I think we're gonna get some better views and whatnot. So the fans are gonna.
Well, we're hoping to transition to a live format because the Zoom format was great for the pandemic, but it's obviously there's some challenges that come with it. So hopefully we can go to a different format, but we'll see where that goes. Hopefully 2023 is a better year for UFC. Hopefully it's a better year for us as well.
Yeah, right.
So they got to give us better content to talk about though.
We're upgrading.
Upgrade, baby.
Hopefully they upgrade, or we might have to change the format and just talk about slap fight instead.
Oh Jesus!
Hell no! I won't.
He might not be seeing us anymore.
Yeah, I won't touch that.
If it comes to that,
that is trash.
That'll be canceled before we reformat. So don't
Thank
worry.
God.
It's not going to be around much longer. So
yeah,
cool. Well, without further ado, congratulations to our winners. Another year of fights in the books, and here is to 2023 being a comeback year, and we'll see some great fights. Till next time, we'll see you guys soon. Enjoy the fights. We'll see you then.
Peace.